Get ready with me whilst I chat to you about my journey to falling pregnant. I think the best place to start is to rewind to about 4 years ago, the year I was turning 30. My friends, one by one, had started falling pregnant, and it ignited this overwhelming sense of pressure in me. I started thinking, should I be having a baby soon? And that was basically the start of a very intense journey for me. I just felt so different to every other woman in my life. I'd be sat at lunch with friends and they'd all be talking about how they couldn't wait to be a mum and how broody they were, and I just couldn't relate to them. It made me feel really outcast and lonely, and I just questioned whether I was normal to not feel maternal as a woman. So I ended up actually battling with this for quite a few years. It didn't help when people kept asking me, when are you going to have a baby? Are you going to have kids? Because I just did not know how to respond to those questions. It just wasn't that straightforward for me. My reality was that I didn't even know if I wanted kids. And I'm not gonna lie, being in that limbo state of like not knowing really did affect my mental health. It actually led me to even getting a private fertility test just to see if it would help me make a decision. It didn't, and it just made things worse. My report said that I had low egg count for my age. My hormones were all over the place. The hormone that's linked to my pituitary gland was off the scale. They suspected endometriosis from my description of my periods. If I wanted to conceive, they recommended seeing a fertility specialist. So that completely threw me off. I thought if I did want to have kids, it would be really difficult, and I'm also time restricted because of my low egg count and my age. So yeah, that added even more pressure, and I definitely regretted getting that done. But in the foreground of all of this going on, I was living my life, I was having fun, I was traveling, and my husband was really supportive throughout. He basically just said he was open to kids if I was, but didn't want to force me to go through with something that I didn't want to do. So I was really grateful that he was like that, but then there was also a part of me that was like, am I holding you back from having the opportunity to be a dad? So that was really hard to deal with. But he did always reassure me that that wasn't the case. And yeah, he just wanted me to be happy, basically. We constantly spoke about having kids though. It was always a topic of conversation that came up whenever anybody announced to us that they were having a baby. We knew financially and with our lifestyle we were ready, but we just weren't ready mentally and emotionally. So we'd always talk about it, and then we'd be like, oh, maybe we'll just like revisit this in 6 months' time. But then those 6 months would pass, and then we'll be like, we'll talk about it in another 6 months, and so on and so on. Basically, I couldn't make a decision, and Robin didn't want to force me into making a decision, so nothing ever got sorted. And I had always questioned why I couldn't decide, but to be honest, I never really went deep into those thoughts. I just kind of, would just ignore it and carry on with my life. Then we had a scare. The condom split on the day of my ovulation. Honestly, I just had to laugh. I was like, this cannot be happening to me right now. It was the day before Coachella last year, and I was like, I'm in another country, can't do anything about it, so I'm just gonna ignore it and have a good time this weekend. But let me tell you, that wait to get my period, oh my God, it was absolutely horrendous. I was not prepared. I did not want it. I had so many amazing summer plans, and it just was not the right time. Thankfully, I got that negative test, which was interesting because I was about 75% relieved, but there was a slight little bit of disappointment, which was interesting to me. I think I thought it'd be easier falling pregnant this way because the decision would be forced upon me. But then I was really grateful that it was a negative test because I just knew myself that I wanted to be fully ready to commit to this journey. I didn't want it to be forced upon me, even though it would have just been the easy way out. But what was interesting was that Robin and I both said if I was pregnant, then we would have kept it. So we knew we weren't a definite no to having kids. There was more just something clearly holding us back. So fast forward to the start of this year, my goal was to continue deep healing and my journey on this spiritual path that I've been on. I carried on with my journaling, I started meditating every day, I upped my reading, and I even tried out some new holistic healing techniques like breathwork and Reiki. But the real change that I saw in me was when I did the blank page challenge from Megan Rose Lane. It's basically a month of meditations and weekly journal prompts, and the meditations were really visual and they were guided. And I have to say, this is definitely what changed things for me. It was so transformative. During the meditations, I started having visions. And these visions were of Robin coming to me in my meditations with a little girl. At first I thought, this is a bit weird. And then I thought, ah, kind of cute. And then I was like, this keeps happening. I wonder if this is like a sign, like should I be looking into this? And then I went on my solo trip to LA, and at the time I flew to LA, I just finished reading a book called The Secret, which is about manifesting and law of attraction, and I just started a new book called Letting Go: The Pathway to Surrender. Both incredibly powerful books, and they really just linked up to everything that then happened next. I landed in LA and I instantly started seeing mirror hours, which I didn't even realize was a thing. I thought it was just 11:11, but every hour has a mirror hour, and there's basically a message connected to each one. And whilst I was in LA, I just felt so connected to the universe, myself, and I could just feel the magic in all of it. So obviously I was continuing my meditations when I was out there. And then there was this one day I had journaling on the beach where something just hit me, and I just had this realization and what I know now as like a spiritual awakening. I realized that I'd been living my life in a fear of feeling, a fear of emotions, and just a fear of like being by myself. But for the first time, I was not scared anymore. I was like, do you know what? I am so ready to take on whatever comes up. And it just felt so powerful feeling that way. And with that, I suddenly started feeling all of these emotions of happiness, love, joy, inner peace. And it was all coming from within me. All of these feelings I actually had in me all along. I'd constantly been looking outside of myself to fulfill these feelings, and they were there the whole time. And in that moment, I truly felt the magic of the universe. And that is definitely when everything sort of started clicking into place. I just felt so connected to myself, to my body, to my mind, to the universe. It was the most incredible feeling, and I can't even fully describe it, but it was just insane. And I was just so grateful in that moment, and I definitely felt like everything had just clicked into place, and I just knew what the meaning of life was. So then all of that paired with those visions of that little girl gave me the most like clarity on my future. I can't even explain how this came to be, but in that moment I just knew I was going to be a mum. I knew that that was my destiny and that was my path. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know when it was going to happen, but there was something in me telling me that it is going to happen, and I just need to trust in the universe. The universe had shown me a glimpse of my future, and I felt what it would feel like. I felt how it would feel to give the gift of life. And in that moment, I just felt so much gratitude at being given a woman's body and having been given that opportunity to bring a soul into this world. Just felt so sure and so ready, and it just felt so right that that was my next move. And another thing I cannot explain but was so magical was that I could feel the energy of my little girl. Like I could feel her energy. I felt her all around me. I knew she was waiting for me to be ready. Oh God, it makes me a little bit emotional actually. So because of all of this and everything that happened, I started to manifest my little girl. Every day in my journal, I would write about how my life is. Even though it wasn't reality then, I knew it would be one day. And then Robin flew out to LA to meet me. And of course, I told him everything that had happened, my spiritual awakening, the little girl in my visions, and of course, he thought I was going absolutely insane. He does not believe in any of this. But he could sense a change in me, and I said, you know, I'm happy to start trying because I've had a calling. I know I'm going to be a mum. I don't know how, I don't know when, but yeah, I'm ready to commit myself to a year of trying, and then we'll see where we are next year. So then in those few weeks after, we obviously did the deed a few times, and then that was that. I was home from LA and I was still feeling the effects of everything that had happened. I was still seeing mirror hours, and then yeah, even more happened after that. The first thing was the amount of robins I kept seeing. I've lived in my house for 5 years and I think I've seen a robin in my garden once. And suddenly I had 2 robins visiting me every single day. I then had a catch up with my friend Cece over a WhatsApp voice note, basically telling her about my LA trip. And because she's quite spiritual as well, I decided to tell her about my visions and about this little girl that I just knew was coming into my life. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but when I told her all of this, she had like this energy or wave come over her. She said to me, "Soph, have you done a pregnancy test?" Now, at that point, it was actually too early to do one. But then things got weirder because within a few minutes after that, my sister texted me a picture of my nephew holding a scan. My sister was pregnant and she was 15 weeks. She didn't want to tell me whilst I was in LA because she knew I was doing like a solo trip, so she waited. But yeah, she was pregnant. And Cece said to me, "Soph, do you think your visions are your sister?" And I was like, no, I just know that they're for me. And I know I'm going to be a mum. I just know. I don't know how I know, but I just know. And then things got weirder because that week, 2 other women in my life then told me they were pregnant. And I was like, is this a sign that this is what's coming to me? So that wait to do a pregnancy test was insanely hard. I was so impatient. I just needed to know whether the magic of the universe really did exist. Like, was everything really connected? And well, I'm here to tell you that it is. And I am proof that it is. I got that positive test and after only one time of trying. And I am so incredibly grateful for this magical experience that I have had and am having with pregnancy. And I know that that is not the case for everybody. So definitely want to send so much love to everybody that is on their own journey with conceiving and pregnancy. But for me, I just know that this is my path. This is my destiny. This is exactly what was meant for me. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that I'm experiencing it this way. The universe has gifted me with life and I'm just so incredibly grateful that I get to experience bringing a soul into this world made from love. It is the most magical and beautiful thing, and I don't even know why I didn't even realize this before. Like I didn't realize this until now I'm in it. It's incredible, and I'm even grateful for the journey to get to this moment. It was an intense one. It was overwhelming. It affected my mental health, but it was my journey, and I believe that it happened for a reason. I was meant to have that journey to bring me to this point, to have this magic, to experience it in this way, to discover the meaning of life. Like, I truly believe that this was meant to happen and for me to share that with you guys. And even though at times it was incredibly intense and difficult, I wouldn't change it. I would not change this journey at all. I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And so, oh my God, I don't know, I'm getting emotional. And so now whoa, what is going on? And I want to say, and now we wait for the gender reveal. I don't know what I'm having. Obviously, I feel so connected to the fact that it's a girl, but the test will reveal whether it is a girl or a boy, who knows? But yeah, I haven't bought anything. I've literally just been waiting for this moment. I feel like if they're a boy, then there's a reason for that, and they're meant to be a boy, and maybe I just needed a girl in my vision to have that kind of connection for it to, I mean, some of you guys might know this, some of you might not, but me and my mum had a very difficult relationship growing up. I've done a whole series about that, which I'll link below. And yeah, so if I'm having a boy, maybe the visions of a girl were to kind of connect me in that way, to get me on the right path. So I truly believe we all have a destiny and purpose in life. Our lives are already mapped out for us. And yeah, so if it's a boy, I feel like it was just to kind of get me on course, and that's the reason behind. There'll be a reason why I'm having a boy. But I do just feel so connected to the fact that I have a little girl in me right now. But time will tell. The countdown is on, a few weeks wait, and then I feel like, oh my God, I'm even getting emotional now, feeling like if it is a girl, I'm definitely gonna bawl my eyes out. But yeah, I need to finish it because I'm getting emotional. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that magical story. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And oh my God, I need to go because let's not ruin this makeup that I've just done. I'm so excited to share more with you. I've vlogged my whole first trimester. I'm vlogging the second trimester now. So yeah, more vlogs and videos coming soon on pregnancy. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. But yeah.